Welcome everybody in my next vlog. This vlog actually was prepared because I was inspired by one of the very proactive women entrepreneurs supporting also women in STEM, Tessa de Flinken, and I met her at the event Walk and Talk organized by Female Ventures in Delft. And she actually inspired me to prepare this vlog. So there it is. And that's why this vlog I also would like to dedicate to Tessa. As a person which gave me, as a woman which gave me inspiration. So what if I would bring Agile to STEM? You might think what STEM reflects. And STEM reflects women, in that case in science, technology, engineering and math. And this subject, STEM, women in STEM, is very broad and complex. Brings a lot of different topics, sometimes difficult topics. Today I'd like to actually, so the topic is very broad and complex and sometimes difficult, but today I'd like to stay in line with theme for International Women's Day 2022, which will be related today, and I'd like to relate it to inclusion. So if you think about Agile in STEM, I'd like to, especially for women in STEM, I'd like to ask you to think about what is the, and I think I can even show it. I'd like to actually ask you to take a look here on the on these questions. I hope you can see all of them, but I can also read it for you. I think you have to think about some questions, which I'd like to also direct to you. What is the percentage of females in non-Agile versus Agile organizations? The second question is, what do you think, what is the percentage of female owners of startups? And in Leiden, for example, Bioscience Park, there's only few women which are owners of startups and founders. So there's very small percentage. That's what I at least can share for my business ecosystem. Third question is there a place for Agile framework at universities? And the fourth question regarding Agile framework is how we can redesign the work culture, we women in STEM, which could be more inclusive, and how we could use Agile for that, Agile type of change or transformation. If I think about this particular regarding Agile framework for women in STEM, a lot of women in STEM is working at universities. So that's why particularly today I'm focused at this type of organization, which is still non-Agile type of organization. So how we could redesign it, especially if I think at universities like Leiden University or Leiden University Medical Center or Technical University in Delft, all representing high percentage of women in STEM. I would say that at this step would be very nice to again look into my favorite book, Agile Transformieren, which I already talked before and give you highlights and short summary in my previous vlogs. And in one of the interesting steps for Agile change transformation process, there is communicating the urgency of the change, which is a third step actually of transformation vision. And I think communicating this change that we want to make culture more inclusive for women in STEM at universities, which represent non-Agile organizations, I think can bring quite great impact because we don't have to transform again universities from day 1 to day 2 into Agile organization. We can redesign the work culture by using agile framework or using agile type of transformation or applying it to bring more inclusive culture. But of course, this is not an easy process, and the book gives very nice case studies, but also very nice examples and potential solutions, because this change, which results in more inclusive environment, has to, of course, has to be made in small steps again. And of course, we all need to think big. If I think about some examples and solutions from this book, I think it's important to start from drawing and communicating the urgency of the change to make it more inclusive. And I think nice example is when authors give examples that you can actually communicate it in the form of infographics, to bring it into posters which you can spread around in your organization and show it and make it visible. And I think becoming visible by addressing your needs of a change, type of change, is very, very important. And the other thing is, if you would like to think what are the unique, I would say, characteristics of women in STEM, definitely I am also a woman in STEM. It's hardworking, dedication, but it's also multitasking, and definitely strong sense of accountability. But I think what we also should not forget is this emotional side of women, which shows how dedicated and engaged they are, and how much they carry to get the best results. So I'm very curious what kind of unique values you would recognize in women for STEM, or yourself in you, and I think I'm very interested about this particular unique values. And I think when we think about this poster and how we can communicate the change, well, I could give you some example of it, and I hope this is going to be here visible. So we could, for example, think about accountability, how we could address it in a graphic way. So here I am, and we could think about bringing sort of symbols that both, this is female, this is male. We can also introduce biological graphic or symbols, but I think this is pretty readable, that neither man, neither woman bring any excuses, so no excuses to perform your task, to take your responsibility for the job you signed for. So that's one of the examples. Also, what I found very important, very often women are afraid to ask for help. And I think this is something which you have to practice already from very small, being very, even studying. I think when you're a student you need to think about this. But asking for help, but not just women. If you think about the organization, and most of the organization is driven by men. So if you have a man and you have female, ask for help. Meaning that ask question, how can you help me to bring certain, for example, can you help me to achieve my goal? Of course, small goals, but also big goals. I think first I would say start with small goals if you go to the top. And this gradual asking for help process will help you and will make this culture more inclusive, that you finally, we women, can feel that's also something about women. We are able to be hearable, to be visible. Our voice matters. More we ask for help. So look for men which can be also ambassadors, which also support women. There are so many men out there which also support women in STEM. So look for such men in your environment. This also can be part of the inclusive culture, engaging men at your organization to help women. Not just creating, let's say, separate only women societies within organization, because that can bring isolation, and we need interaction. So these are the other important example, I think, which I like to bring today, also to create this inclusion change or agile framework, which we would think about symbols representing this change, what we would like to bring, what we would like to communicate, how we would see this inclusive environment in our organization, is actually that's something else. Women are very often multitasking. So they are busy with doing work for themselves, work for others, caring basically for others a lot. Of course, taking care of children, taking care of students, doing basically everything, taking care of everything at the same time. And of course, multitasking has its advantages. But at some point, if you're in an organization and you have a lot of colleagues which are men, you should share work instead of being multitasking and thinking I can do all this on my own, by myself. I don't need to ask anybody. Yes, so indeed, I think I gave you some overview of my perspective of how I would like to communicate by bringing agile framework to make the work culture more inclusive. So this is something which you can really change and make it visible, and it doesn't have to require a lot of activities. It can be just a poster which is distributed at different floors at universities or your organization. So I hope that this vlog was very empowering for you. And I realized also one other thing. Of course, I'm talking about a lot about women in STEM, but we need to remember that there are women in STEM in workforce, and there are women in STEM which are representing females which are still studying, so female STEM students. And I think for them I would like to prepare another vlog, because what I actually by preparing this vlog looked at different publications and data and studies. Apparently 60% of female STEM students have had their future career prospects affected by COVID-19 pandemic. And I think that's what I think nobody would realize. I think that's quite big, quite big and important signal for us, also women, STEM women in workforce, to even more empower female students. And apparently this COVID pandemics brought a lot of uncertainties and worries about their future while they're still studying. So I think we need all women in STEM in workforce support our younger colleagues, our junior generation, and it will be actually also nice to hear from them if they watch my vlog or just joining my YouTube channel, what they think about how they are studying basically environment, how they would make it more inclusive, how we could help them too from our own experience. So I hope that I was even thinking about making separate vlog for female STEM students, and I think that's what I'm going to do, because this is very big ecosystem, not only women in STEM in the workforce, but also female students in STEM. There will be second vlog, so please stay tuned for that. And I hope that this vlog gave you some inspiration, but also how by inspiration in implementing Agile framework we can change the work culture to have it more inclusive. So thanks a lot, thanks for listening, and please share with me your ideas, how you would actually, what kind of inspirations you have for that, and what kind of questions maybe you have also to me. I'm very happy to answer them. Please give all the questions in the comments below, and see you next time.